Well, let's go back inside again and see Pat Nichols. And as we do, think of this. If a person has 17 alligators for buddy pals, do you really need other friends? Well, she has others. You'll see. What other kinds of friends have you got? What have they got?
Well, say if you raise rats, you meet a lot of people with snakes.
Rats?
Yes.
If you raise rats. Yeah. You do have some pet rats over there, eh?
There's your rat. That's her pet rat.
She. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The bird, this macaw that earlier you said, well, you little monkey, you, and now you tell me this little monkey has a pet rat?
Oh, yes. She was in bad shape when I got her, and anything to give her an interest in living. And so I put these rats up here to give her something to play with, and she'll go over there and just play by the hour.
Imagine this. You've lost the will to live, and you regain it by getting a rat.
Get her a rat. Get her something to play with.
Let's talk about getting bitten for a minute. You said they will nip you once in a while.
Well, it's an accident always. Occasionally I will reach in to get a piece of dirt off the ramp with a Kleenex in my hand, and they see the white Kleenex and think it's a rat, and they jump at it, and I get scratched. I don't do that anymore.
No.
And there used to be in the old days, you know, on this continent, U.S. alligators got up to occasionally 20 feet.
20 feet?
20 feet, and the 18-footers weren't rare at the turn of the century. And I think it was Dr. Archie Carr or someone was counting them, said in their youth they would fly over a river and they would count 300 per mile, and another more recent times they flew for 15 miles without seeing one.
And the ones they did see are small. You telling me they've downsized crocodiles?
Oh my God, yes. All over the earth, the stress of the population explosion. The people take the land and the animals are pushed off.
You know, were you ever somewhere and you had the feeling that someone, or, well, maybe something, was looking at you? You get that feeling all the time when you're in Pat Nichols' house. The feeling of eyes, all kinds of things, all kinds of critters looking at you. Speaking of looking, though, the same woman who has the great affection for alligators and crocodiles also loves to do this kind of fancy, painstaking, delicate work. Each year, she builds to order doll houses. These are some she kept for herself. You notice something about the doll houses, don't you? They're inhabited not by dollies that look like you and me. They're inhabited by animals. Pat Nichols, maybe you're eccentric.
No, I'm not.
Well, if you are, you're a gifted and talented and a productive eccentric or whatever. You're an artist and a very, very talented artist. Studied in Boston, Kansas City Art Institute too. And this is one of your works. Are they always animals?
No. Those are the ones I keep, though. I do anything the customer orders. If it's in my field of specialization. If it's something I can't do, then I usually can recommend someone that does.
You made a series of bulls like this?
Yes.
Okay. That's not all Pat Nichols does. Her talents extend to other fields, such as you also do what is called custom matting. Now, we're looking at an example. This is a matting job you did. Now, that's no ordinary job of matting. What does you do?
Well, I do whatever the job requires to make it look better, no matter how much grueling labor is involved. And that one's double matted with the fancy corners that take uncounted hours of time.
All right, there's matting, but that's not all. There's fancy framing. Now, Pat, you can buy a frame at the dime store, right?
Yes.
But this one, now tell me, that's a big labor of love there, right?
Yes, well, I have lately, some people had some little things to frame. Originally, the original frame was what looks like the gold liner now, and I put the other frame on outside of it because it looked kind of bare.
How long does it take you to do that?
Oh, Well, I don't know. Sometimes you can do several in a day. I usually, when I start making frames, I make quite a few at one time. The most I ever did in 1 week was 27, and I got 27 pieces of glass cut at one time, and I thought I'll never do this again. And the next week I did 24, but that was a record.
And then it's almost incongruous when you put it with all the other stuff you do. Another thing you do extremely well is what they call in your field technical illustration, right?
Well, I worked for other people for about 20 years as a technical illustrator.
For example, here's a job you did where you're doing a map. What was it?
Yeah, I did a whole series of maps. Well, that was when I was with White Settlesater Engineers, and they would be included in the feasibility studies, and they would show the shipping routes and the railroads and the population density and the size of cities and various other things.
This particular one is...
This is a population of Pakistan, which is unbelievably dense.
Oh, I bet. Well, so am I. Let's pull that one off and let me see the next one, would you? Okay, now for technical illustration, I believe you told me you did this for an engineering company catalog. What in the world is that?
Well, it was for an electrical parts company. This is an exploded view of a Delco Remy heavy-duty diesel starter.
Oh.
And they bring the great big greasy thing in person on a dolly and say, here it is.
And then you draw it.
And you take it apart first, and then you draw it.
And you draw all that while something is on your shoulder saying, what a pretty bird. One thing, could you fix your starter today?
Well, I guess so. I've drawn so many starter brushes that it's unbelievable. There's as many varieties of starter brushes as there are of sparrows, I think.
There you are. And that is Pat Nichols, a remarkable woman who lives here with the animals she loves, sort of as St. Francis of the East Side, if it comes to animals. And then, with it all, a gifted artist. One more fascinating person we meet on Bodines Beat.